All right, folks, I am doing one last try. This is like take four of this video. Um, but I've had quite an interesting day as an artist, as a freelancer, and as a Christian. Kind of all came together. I just got off a Discord call with a guy who is working on a game, but he's like Christian, and we ended up talking about some interesting topics about our faith and pretty cool connection that I just sort of made, I believe, by the grace of God today. And he has a project for me, and as a freelancer, I think it'll be good to take on that project with him. Um, but of course, I do have to discuss pay and discuss all that so that everything like looks good for me on the professional end. So, but anyway, happy to make that connection and happy to be offered some work. So, with that in mind, we're gonna continue with this commission here. And in the last video I recorded, I was really kind of not distracted, but I would say, well, maybe distracted is the right word, but rather really focused on the topic at hand. And on every one of these recordings, I'm taking notes on like, what can I do better with the recording? What can I do better with my art process or the banter? And one thing I decided was like, I want to make sure that I have a topic prepared for every video. And I want to make sure that, like the video is not boring, that the audio quality is good, and that every time I come into these recorded drawing sessions, that the quality of the actual art skill improves. So I'm taking notes on all of it, all of the above, just so that this experience as a metric, because I'm taking notes of like how much time I'm spending doing these recorded drawings, and that every time I do it, I'm measuring like what could I have done better, like just doing an analysis, and I'm not relying too much on metrics, because I've done that before where I just got so focused on the metrics and how to build the system numerically that I lost the human intuition sense of it. I lost the sense of spirit to it. Um, and even then, I'm kind of like right now trying to focus on this little shin guard. Anyway, the topic that I want to get into right now is just focusing on the work, especially the line art. For me, again, as you guys have seen, a lot of the decision making for me does come intuitively. And it's like whenever I see a line that doesn't look right, I'm able to naturally fix it, without much thought. But I want to focus more on the intuition aspect of it. So, in fact, the person who commissioned this piece for me, I met her at an anime convention, and she was commissioning some work for me there, with her original characters, just like this here. And when I'm there at the anime conventions, I'm able to charge like 50, 40, 50, 60 an hour, and people will fill up my queue for sure, because there's just so much demand for that kind of artwork there. People for their special characters that they can't find art for, characters that the featured voice actors are voicing, and then like this one, people's original characters. So I did quite a few of those, and that's something I really enjoy too. And just contributing to other people's creative visions. I have my own creative visions that I was trying to strive for, but all that's on the back burner. All that is like I'm not really putting much focus on at all anymore, and it's like I don't really need that in my life right now. The character I'm focused on right now is myself, and improving myself, and pursuing that magnanimity that I was talking about, that greatness of soul. And I'm really more focused on that than any of my own personal creative endeavors, my fictional stories or whatever, any particular career path as an artist. I'm rather more focused on just how can I be a good Christian man and a good steward. So that said, part of that stewardship is my career as an artist. So it's not like it's separate from all that. It's a part of it. It's a big part of it. And these are talents I don't want to waste. Like I mentioned in the magnanimity video, if I'm given gifts, we should not bury them. And I developed this talent over time, and I just want to use it for good. I just want to use it for good art that enriches people's lives and does not detract from people's lives. And people have fantasy and they have stories because they want to express truths that are within their own heart. That it's not like people make things up just for the sake of like I love fantasy. It's like there's truths in story. There's a mythical realm, that Jordan Peterson and Bishop Barron talked a lot about it, where these stories are eternal. The hero's journey is an eternal story, so might as well tell that same type of story over and over throughout the course of time, ad infinitum. Because it's a great story. It's the story of humanity. It's a story of people overcoming their weaknesses and leaving home, and approaching the challenges and disorder of the world and creating something better out of it and coming out of the other side a better person. You know, Lord of the Rings is a perfect example of that. And especially because Tolkien is a Catholic, and Tolkien, whether or not people recognize it, Tolkien purposely imbued his faith into that story writing to make it as Catholic a story as possible. So that said, the character development I'm trying to create now is just my own self. The whole cliche of be the best version of yourself. Now, but I did say though that I want to try focusing on the actual art itself, and like, two particular metrics I'm thinking about as I draw this. I'm trying to reduce the amount that I use the undo button, because you guys can clearly see that I use it a lot. And that's one of the reasons I want to document this process too, because I want to improve not just my drawing skill, not just my skill as a teacher and as an entertainer, and like with the YouTube banter, but you know, improve. I don't know. I don't remember what I was saying, but the two metrics are not zooming in too much and then not using undo too much. So I want to improve my skill in that sense. And I think of Kim Jung-gi, who's able to whose drawing skill was so, rest in peace, it was so ingrained in his body. Subject matter aside, because I'm not on board with a lot of his subject matter, but subject matter aside, the skill was so like ingrained and so wired into his body. I think wired is the right word, because we're talking about neural networks here and muscles. It was so wired into his body that he could do a lot of these drawings without sketches. So I want to sort of approach that skill level, not that I want to copy his work, but rather be able to pre-visualize and execute using as few strokes as possible and using efficient and skilled strokes. So with that said, I think this is looking pretty okay. I think the layering of this fabric is a bit wrong, because this leg is in front. So technically this fabric should be in front. I want to make that clear. I think this is okay. Oh, I gotta go to work soon. In 10 minutes. So I might stop this recording now. And I wanted to fix some things about this, but I think the line art is like almost done. I think the final pass for the line art here is just going to be getting into both of these characters and like working on the detail. Make sure, yeah, the lines are separate. Hold on, let's fix the spear here. Bring it all the way down. Wait, there we go. Okay, get that line down there, that line here. And again, we're going to try to prevent zooming and undoing. Zooming in and out at a minimal level is probably fine, but undo, we're going to try to scale that to 0. So that was my video. I'm going to try to keep them a little bit short too. I don't know if you guys enjoy shorter or longer, but give me feedback if you have an opinion. Otherwise, I'll just keep going and keep improving myself with all of these recordings. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye-bye.